back now to our next conversation. As President Bola Tinubu took the oath of office, becoming the 16th Nigerian leader, Nigerians have called on him to tackle a host of issues. And today we're looking at unemployment and brain drain. Joining me now is Osita Nwajufor, founder, CEO, Black Tech, and official member of Forbes Business Council. Joining me via Zoom. Great to have you on the show. Good morning. Good morning. I think you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, Ladi, how are you today?
Oh, fantastic. I hear you loud and clear. I'm doing great. So let's get straight into it now. The president talked about creating 1 million new jobs in the digital economy. How do you see this becoming a reality?
Yeah, thank you so much. One thing about new government and policies is the fact that once a new government come on board, there is always that drive in terms of making pronouncements. Sometimes probably governments didn't look at data in terms of what has happened before now and what they can do differently. I know past administration have made comments like that. Even the last government has also talked about the fact that they want to create millions of jobs within the first 1 year in office. But what has happened, right? 8 years down the line, I don't think we can really vouch that the government have created millions of jobs they talked about creating. For me, I think this present government can do it. It's possible. It's something that governments all over the world have been able to do when there is political will, when they have the right people in the right places. These are possibilities. Look at, for instance, the last government. We talk about a policy where I think they gave out 20,000 naira to about 1,000 youth in 774 local governments in the name of job creation, right? When you look at policies like that, you are like, what is going on? What happens to those individuals now? You give them 20,000 naira, and after that, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months down the line, they go back to poverty. That is not job creation. So government really needs to, be more strategic this time around, working with private organizations, working with policy makers, and looking at statistics, most importantly, on how best they can create these jobs. A sustainable job, not just giving out money to people, but sustainable jobs. Some of these funds, for example, that the last government gave out to youths, can actually be channeled in creating industries in various local governments through PPP, public-private partnership. Get organization to manage this establishment. By now, these companies will still be existing, and youth will be engaged for jobs in the years to come, not just handing out money. So I want to see policies where government is able to come up with the right programs, right initiative, and not just initiative just to appease certain group of people, but a sustainable plan towards reducing the unemployment situation in Nigeria.
I did see a survey recently by Phillips Consulting. It indicated that over half, about 52% of Nigerian professionals are considering leaving their current jobs and moving, abroad within a year. How can we realistically tackle this issue of brain drain? Because it's a very big one. There's a big competition globally for good talent, at this point.
Yeah, 52%. I mean, that might be probably a kind of conservative, right? It might not be a conservative number, I will tell you. But one thing about brain drain is the fact that brain drain is going to continue, right? It's going to continue. That's the truth. Except there is concerted effort by the government to do things that ordinarily a government should do. And what are we talking about? We are talking about setting up the right infrastructure. We are talking about putting together an organized environment that is devoid of too much security issues. There are so many security challenges that is facing the country today. There are a lot of professionals today. They are not moving abroad simply because of economic reasons. They are moving abroad because of insecurity, right? So I think the top priority for this government is to find a way to overhaul the entire security architecture of the country. When you have an environment with the right security, every other thing will begin to fall into place. So security, number one. Number two, we talk about healthcare system. Healthcare. Healthcare is key, right? You need to have the right healthcare because health is wealth. Even if you are rich and you cannot really boast of a good healthcare around you, there is that tendency for you to look elsewhere where you think you can easily get very good and qualitative healthcare. Then now we talk about education. Education is another key important aspect as well. Look at our budget on education. Look at the budget on education. Government needs to pay more attention, close attention to education, right? Because when there is proper education for youth, teaming youth, talking about professionals, leaving the university system. They come out from the university system, most of them, or let me say some of them, are unemployable. Unemployable because there was nothing in terms of impact that the educational system have really given to them that they can use to compete with the outside world. And what do you see? Many people want to go to places where they can actually what? Get all these resources. So the brain drain will continue except the government becomes more aware of these challenges and putting measures to combat these challenges head on.
This definitely impacts, the businesses directly. What can they do, in their little corner to, retain most of these talents?
For businesses, what I would recommend for businesses obviously is because talking about insecurity, talking about healthcare, talking about education challenges that the country have, is not really about the government alone. I believe it's a collective effort. So businesses really have to work closely with the government, right? From the local to state and to federal, to see how they could work together, synergize, right? In helping with all these infrastructural challenges that the country is facing today. Because without fixing these infrastructural challenges, insecurity, healthcare, and so many other challenges that we are facing as a nation, I don't really think that there's something else that the business will be able to do. Because truth is, if you look at the exchange rate, many of those trying to go abroad, they are able to earn far higher than whatever companies will pay them in Nigeria, right? So how much will the business want to pay? How do you incentivize your employees in order to stay? It's difficult for the businesses. So I think the businesses need to find a way, a strategic way to work closely with the government towards addressing some of these challenges.
And definitely we have, a lot of people there looking for greener pasture, but at the same time, some do it wrongly, at this time. Even though migration in itself, it's not a bad thing, really. But for people that are looking to, migrate at this time, how do you do this responsibly, without, going there, becoming a burden in another man's country?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. And when you talk about migration, I love the comment because, yes, migration is not a bad thing. It's been there for over the years, and it's going to continue. The major challenge with Nigeria today is the alarming rate. The alarming rate of brain drain, that is the major challenge. Look at the medical doctors, right? Like almost every medical doctor want to move abroad, for instance. So the rate is really on the increase, and the government needs to take care of that. But in terms of moving abroad, for anyone that want to move abroad, of course, planning is key. Planning is key. For us at Black Tech, we have really established an ecosystem of over 20,000 professionals. 99% of these professionals are Nigerians that have relocated to Canada. And what are we doing? Helping and supporting them with ways through which they could upskill in order to earn the kind of salaries they deserve in this part of the world. So when you are looking at immigrating, you need to look at planning. You have to plan, understand yourself, what are the skills that you need to acquire. You need to develop capabilities. In-demand skills, especially in technology, because tech is the future. Acquiring all these kind of skills will help you. So when you come into this environment, you are marketable. You are able to, attract the kind of jobs, instead of working survival jobs, easily you'll be able to, get into environment, get into companies where they can pay you six-figure salaries and above.
Right, because there's nothing wrong with, exporting brains, because that way you still get a big return, as a country when these guys bring in all of that foreign currency. Thank you so much, Mr. Osita Nwaju, for founder, CEO, Black Tech. It was great having your perspective today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lani. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll take a moment now. AFEX Commodities Market Update is next. To stay with us.